What's up, everybody? Oh, right here. So yet another Zombie Survivors just came out a couple days ago. They've been letting people play it, but today they just put out a pretty big update, and I wanted to go over some of the changes that they just put out. So they put out gameplay changes, bug fixes, balance improvements, and some quality of life updates, and then they kind of talked about what's coming out next. So for the gameplay changes, they added the reroll option. The reroll option has been added to the SOS Survivor selection panel, which is incredibly awesome. You don't know how many times I've tried to do a video or where I'm showing off a build where I need a very specific class and I haven't gotten them and had to restart the video. So that's an awesome that's an awesome gameplay change, especially for someone like me. Stone Skin now grants 1,000 armor. Before, I think it just gave you 200, so that's a change. They now have a 100% chance to give you the option of both money and health when you've maxed out all your skills, which is nice because sometimes it was just one or the other. So giving you the option is going to be much more beneficial. They increased the experience modifier, or that increases it was reduced, so they reduced the experience modifier. There's now a temporary immunity of 0.3 seconds after a level up SOS or item chest, which is good because sometimes you got to stand there to unlock it and then you kind of bolt right away, so that'll help a little bit. And then this is the one that I'm most excited about. The endless mode wave damage modifier now clamps at 2000% instead of 300. So I don't know if you've seen my video, and it's actually playing in the background right here. There was a way to make yourself unkillable because damage maxed out at 300. And so if you had enough damage reduction, health regen, and then lifesteal, it was impossible to kill you. I think I could have survived forever, but I had to eventually quit. So putting that to 2000% is going to be really awesome because then you're going to really be able to challenge yourself. Because after a certain point, you basically beat the game. No one could kill you. You were unstoppable. So 2000% is going to be a pretty big game changer for endless mode. Then they have a bunch of bug fixes. Chests no longer spawn over each other. I actually never seen that. They fixed some of the big one, I guess, was the protocol critical would drop your critical stat to 0% after the first time it went off. That was a pretty big bug. One of them I actually had an issue with right here is to fix the no skill achievement. That's the only achievement I have not unlocked in this game. So now I'll be able to do this one. And then they have a few other bug updates that you can read right here. But now let's go over the balance improvements. They increased your lifesteal stat to 1%. They actually changed a lot of the lifesteal improvements, which is good because it was a confusing stat, which you weren't sure if it was working properly or not. And so hopefully this will kind of settle some of the confusion. They reduced the amount of experience gems dropped from bosses. Yeah, I don't know if that was an issue or not. The Huntress zombie decoy has been reduced, and now it drops 3 grenades at the surrounding area before exploding. I think that's a pretty good buff for the Huntress. I think the Huntress has some of the weakest abilities in the game, so doing that might help out a bit. Protocol critical is now reduced to 30 seconds. And is now reduced to 50% instead of 100. This, I don't know if it's a buff or a nerf yet. I do like the change though. I think its previous 1 minute cooldown was too long for a game like this. So I think 30 seconds is much better. And 50% isn't too bad because you can stack other power-ups to get that up to, I don't know, 70, 75 pretty easily. So you'll still be critting a ton. They increased the ability cooldown, and then they increased the strength of the Shuriken ability. They made automatic turret better. They gave that a buff, so they reduced the cooldown and the damage. Bombing strike actually got a cooldown reduction, which I think is pretty good because I think that's actually a pretty good ability. And same with energy shield, ability cooldown got reduced. I think energy shield is a really strong ability. I don't know if it really needed the buff, but maybe it does, because with endless mode now being up to 2000%, I think they might have needed to buff some of these classes a little bit more. Handgun and syringe damage for the medic got a buff, which is fine. The medic was definitely by far the weakest DPS class, which she should be. So I hope it's not a substantial buff, because I think she is still really useful in every composition because of all her support and health regeneration abilities. So hopefully it's not a huge buff, because then she'll just be incredibly OP. And then they reduce, they kind of nerfed her lifesteal ability, which is fine because that was a really OP ability. And then they have some nice quality of life improvements, so now there's a pop-up when you hover over the icons, which is nice because sometimes it's hard to see what the items were, what the abilities were. The current ability level, they're gonna show that now too. And now they changed the name, which makes sense because now it's a pump action shotgun instead of a double barrel shotgun. That's not a change or a nerf or anything. They just reflected it to show what kind of actual weapon it is. And then one that I'm actually really happy about is the blaster firing sound and the laser stop volume has been decreased. Those were incredibly annoying. I don't know if you played around with them. They made the laser especially just made this incredibly annoying sound effect, which I could not stand. And so I almost refused to use it because of it. And then they have a few upcoming changes. Nothing huge. They're gonna add manual aiming option, which is, I was actually kind of surprised this game didn't have it. Usually these type of bullet hell survival games have manual and automatic. I don't know if I would use automatic though. I usually tend to stick with the auto aiming so I can focus on maneuvering through the zombies, but it's still a much demanded change, so I'm glad they're adding it. They're gonna add a public beta stream branch. I'm not quite sure, Steam branch. I'm not sure what that is. Mouse character movements. Ooh, I don't know. I guess that's fine. That's just another option. I couldn't imagine playing this game without a controller though. And then a few other updates, which I'm actually not quite sure what those are. Codex, encyclopedia of in-game content. Oh, that'll be nice, because then you'll probably be able to see what all the different abilities are and things like that. And then separate save for game options, resolution. Okay, so yeah, those are some nice quality of life changes that are going to be coming up. Those aren't in the game yet, but that's going to be it for our update overview. Thank you so much for watching. I have a ton of videos up of yet another zombie survivors. Feel free to check those out. I hope everybody's enjoying this game because I think it's really good. I can't wait to see what else they're going to put into it. This game has only been out 2 days, so I'm glad to see that they put out such a pretty big update right away. It shows that they care about this game and they're gonna make this as best as they can. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, everybody.